Hey boys, welcome back to the channel, and it's gonna be a round 4 preview here. We're gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna get into the consistent nature of doing the previews and the reviews every week, because I just like talking about footy, and I've always wanted to do it more on the channel, but then I think life gets busy at times and it just slips my mind at points. But let's get straight into this round. So last round was a bit of a shocker for me tipping wise. I think I got 3 or 4. I might have got 4 actually, which is not great, but there were quite a few upsets. A few teams that I thought would win and win comfortably ended up happening, but a lot of the other ones were a mixed bag, and it was difficult to tip with the new interpretations and how the teams are going to come back with the extended break. But honestly, it was a great return to footy. I think the spectacle was great. I think any new fans to the footy, to the NRL would have been impressed, and hopefully round 4 can capitalize and continue to grow. So first up, Thursday night footy. Of course, it's my freaking Broncos taking on the Roosters. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that the Broncos are playing Thursday night against the Roosters, because I do not see us winning this. So I'm already I'm already primed to have a bad Thursday night. And I know it's blasphemy to tip against your team, but there's no way I can tip the Broncos. I cannot tip the Broncos in this game. I mean, look, we just have to look at the team list. With David Fafita, Pengai Jr. out, we now have Alex Glenn gone, Jake Turpin gone, and Katoni Staggs gone. We bring in some good youngsters. Tessie New is an absolute freak in the making. Who comes in? Herbie Farnworth obviously comes onto the wing with Jesse Arthurs into the centres. Xavier Coates, I think, is on the extended bench, and Corey Payix. I think it's Pay. He comes in. I haven't seen too much of him, but I'm sure, honestly, I think he'll do a good job. I think, always the young dummy halves coming through at Brisbane always are pretty good. So I'm not too displeased by that, but dude, there's just no way. I cannot see the Broncos winning this. Honestly, for the Broncos to win, they're going to have to play some of the best footy they've played in years, and probably the Roosters are going to have a bit of an off night for the Broncos to win. I mean, the Broncos still have some good strike, for sure, but the team is, it just can't compete. I mean, a full-strength Broncos up against a full-strength Roosters, I would still be like 50-50. I wouldn't know who to tip, but with the amount of injuries and outs that we have, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. And the Roosters, annoyingly, have bloody Takiaho back in the team as well. I'm like, seriously? Takiaho missed the first game. Actually, no, he's in the reserves, but I'm pretty sure Takiaho will come straight back into the team. And I'm like, are you serious? The Roosters are going to get to first the Broncos under strength, and and one of their best forwards is back as well. I'm like, come on, dude. Come on. But yeah, not honestly, not too much else to talk about. I still like our pack. I mean, Patrick Carrigan was huge last week. Payne Haas again. Thomas Flegler, very good. Jamil Hopewade honestly looked pretty good. He came up with some bad errors, but he looks like he's got a lot of talent, strong in defense, so I'm pretty happy with that. Ethan Bullymore, I mean, the loss of Glenn is massive, and Bullymore, he looks like a good young player, but defensively wasn't the best against the Eels when he had to come on for Glenn. Our bench, honestly, again, hopefully Offengowie and Lodge can actually play decently, because they were pretty rubbish in last round. Tessie New, like I said, he's a freak. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on and does some good stuff. But it's just not too much else. Honestly, the Roosters very, very strong. They were 9-2, and they got to pretty much win most of their games. So the Roosters are going to be fired up. It's a tough time to take them on, and got to tip the Roosters in that one. It's just it's just a bad time for the Broncos, unfortunately. Then we move on to Friday night footy, which is one of the real tough games to pick. I had a quick look before I made this video at like the teams playing, and there are quite a few doozies in this round. I'm struggling to pick some of these games, but yeah, the Warriors taking on the Panthers, and again, like the Panthers, Nathan Cleary is still out, and Brent Naden is still... Actually, no, Brent Naden apparently is in. He comes into the reserves, but surely, dude, Brent Naden, he's a quality player, but Stephen Crichton looks like an absolute weapon. Surely they don't drop Stephen Crichton. Dean Farre, I could see Dean Farre getting the sack. Honestly, if I was a Panthers fan, I would much rather have Stephen Crichton and Brent Naden as a centre pairing. Dean Farre, he's been a great player, great defensively, but honestly, you got to go with Naden and Crichton if they're both fit. They're absolute... Crichton especially is just... He's a very talented youngster, very strong, freak of a kid, really. And Dean Farre, I think if they're all fit, Dean Farre has to miss out. But, it's not a bad problem to have. The halves pairing of Burton and Luai just didn't do the job against a very understrength Knights team. So this one's so tough. This one is such a tough game to pick because the Warriors were incredible against the Dragons. And again, I reiterate the point because I don't want it to seem like the Warriors weren't good. I've seen a few people come out and say the Warriors didn't play that well, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. But the Dragons were dreadful. Like, the Dragons just put no pressure on the Warriors. They didn't look hungry. They didn't look like they were competing at all. Their attack was terrible. Defensively, they were okay, but not, nothing too amazing. But again, not taking anything away from the Warriors. Like, the completions were incredible. I thought their attack of Cody Nikorima and the young Elisa Katoa was a great combo, and I think that could be damaging again. And I thought, Tohu Harris was strong. Isaiah Papali'i was pretty good. Adam Blair actually played a decent game for once. But it's so tough because the Warriors, they weren't really tested. They were good. They were very good, in my opinion. They were great, but they weren't tested by the Dragons. And I'm like, how did these match up? Like, the Panthers were awful. Like, they should have been the Knights. The Knights had Ponga out and then Watson and Pierce going down. The Panthers should have controlled that game. They should have won, and they didn't. They honestly should have lost it at the end. The Knights came way stronger. And I'm like, I don't know. Jerome Luai at halfback is strange to me. I feel like Burton should be the one controlling the game. Their forward pack is very, very strong. Api Coruscant is the main danger here. And as soon as Coruscant went off, the Panthers looked so much worse. So I feel like, do they still have... Yeah, they still got Mitch Kenny on the bench. I mean, he's a good young player. But honestly, when he came on and Coruscant went off, the Panthers lost so much attacking play. Coruscant has to play big minutes again, and he makes the attack look he's just such a threat around the ruck that it just provides so much impact out wide for guys like Kikau and Isaiah Yo on the edge if he plays there. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know who to pick in this one. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I think the Warriors were excellent, but I do feel like the Warriors are going to start struggling just because it's tough for them. It's rough. They got to stay in Australia. They're away from friends and family. They don't get a home advantage. Like, it's just tough for the Warriors, and I feel like they're going to start dipping. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll continue to play the best footy they've played in years, but I feel like the Panthers... surely their halves are going to be better than they were last week, and I just feel like they got too much strike, and their forward pack is just a little bit stronger than the Warriors, and I feel like they're going to... I feel like they're going to fire up and really take it to the Warriors. So I'm going to tip the Panthers in a tight one, honestly. But I'm not confident. I'm not confident, dude. The Warriors were excellent last week. Next game here, honestly, this one is an easy tip for me. Obviously, it doesn't mean they're going to win, but I am comfortably tipping the Storm in this game, taking on the Rabbitohs. The Ins, obviously a big out with Asafa Solomona being out, which, who comes in? Christian Welch actually comes into the starting side, which is great for the Storm. I mean, they're losing Solomona, but Christian Welch after the last game hopefully has some fitness, and I mean, he's a Queensland player in the future. He's a potential international star. Christian Welch is an absolute gun, dude, so I don't think they lose that much because Welch should have some match fitness, and their forward pack is still very, very good. They bring Riley Jackson onto the bench, Max King, decent, Brandon Smith, and Fasama Ali. For Summer Ali. I feel like I'm missing a couple of syllables, but dude, I don't know why. Whenever I'm pronouncing in my head, I'm like, yeah, I got it, but then when I try to say it. But they got a good bench, and I feel like the Storm, they're going to be writhing after that last performance. I think the Rabbits will be better than last game as well, but you know, Cody Walker is still gone. James Roberts is still he's back. James Roberts, I don't know if he's going to play. He's on the reserves at the moment. Debatable whether he'll play. I don't think Roberts actually makes that much difference, honestly. I think the main difference is Cody Walker being out. They just lose so much attack. Their pretty much only trick now is going through the middle with Cook and Murray. So if the Storm can minimize the ruck attack from the Rabbits, I don't think they have that much strikeout wide with Cody Walker being gone. Obviously, you know, they got good outside backs with Gagai, Campbell, Graham, Burns, and Johnston, but they don't have that feeder with Walker to really capitalize. Mitchell, you know, I don't want to keep criticizing Mitchell, but you know, he was taking on his former club last week, and he was decent. Like, he was definitely better than he has been, but you know, that was a game that I thought he would come out and really play incredible, but he didn't. He was okay, but he really didn't involve himself still. And I thought, if he's not going to do it against his former club, I don't think it's going to happen against the Storm. So, yeah, I think the Storm in this one, I don't think they're going to smack. I don't think they're going to. Honestly, they might. Looking at the teams, I feel like the Storm might put on a bit of a show against the Rabbits. And they're playing at Amy Park again, so surely not. Surely they're not going to dish up what they did against the Raiders. Next up, this is another extremely tough one. The Eels taking on the Sea Eagles. The Eels obviously had a very good win against the Broncos, but there's a couple of big buts for both of these teams because they both had big wins. The Eels win came off the back of the Broncos capitulating. The Broncos were terrible in the second half. The completions, the amount of ball they gave the Eels, you know, the Eels were just going to win and win well in that game with the fatigue and with the amount of possession they had. They were always going to win comfortably. And then the flip side, the Sea Eagles, they beat the Bulldogs comfortably, but it's the Bulldogs. So, you know, I feel like the Bulldogs the Bulldogs were terrible, but the Sea Eagles were also very good. So both of their last round form doesn't really equate to too much. But they're both, on paper, they're both extremely good teams. The backline, we'll go, honestly, this is let's go through the team list here and who do I think has the upper hand. So Gutherson, Tom Trebojevic over Gutherson for sure. Sivo, Tafua, I love Tafua, but I'd probably go Sivo. Jennings, Brad Parker, that's a tough one because I actually love Brad Parker. He just puts in 100% every time, and I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a good matchup because Jennings, obviously, you know, electric, obviously not what he used to be, but I think for Parker that's a pretty decent matchup for him. Wanga Blake, Moses Suley, again, it's a tough one, dude. Honestly, the center pairings are very, very even. They're different players for sure, but tough to split them. And then Ferguson, Ruben Garrick, again, they're different players, but I'd probably go Fergie. I'd go Ferguson in that one. Garrick is a good young player, but I think Ferguson has a little bit more spark and X factor. The halves, Dylan Brown, Dylan Walker. I mean, Dylan Brown was exceptional last week, so I'd probably go Dylan Brown, but Dylan Walker, I know a lot of people hate Dylan Walker, but he's been very good at 5'8" for the Sea Eagles. I think he's done his job excellent. Just running the footy, defensively pretty strong, and he's just doing his job. Moses, Cherry Evans. Again, it's tough. It's tough, dude. I'd probably go Cherry Evans. I think he can control the game a little bit better than Moses. Moses has more flashes of brilliance, but I think Cherry Evans as a whole controls the game better than Moses. The forward pack, Campbell Gillard, Fanua Blake. I'd go Fanua Blake. Marnie, Levi. I like Levi, but I'd probably just go with Marnie. Paulo to Powell. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. These ones, I can't split those two. They've been huge. Lane Thompson, again, tough to split. Madison Sirinen, again, it's so tough to split, dude. And then Niokore and Trebojevic, you got to go Trebojevic. So that didn't really help me too much in my decision, but I am going to go with the Sea Eagles. I think the Sea Eagles, I think their forward pack is going to just be a little bit stronger than the Eels. I think I just love the Sea Eagles forward pack. They just work so well together. They all run off the back of each other. If Fanua Blake can get the offload going to Powell, Sirinen, Jake Trbojevic is always a threat. And then I think probably their bench is just a little bit stronger as well. I like Corey Waddell, Kepi looks good, and Paseka is a monster as well. So I got to tip the Sea Eagles, but again, not confident at all, because the Eels are definitely a premiership contender. Cowboy Sharks. So this is another one that is extremely tough. Mainly because of Jason Taumalolo being ruled out. If he wasn't ruled out, I would have tipped the Cowboys, not comfortably, but I would have tipped the Cowboys. The fact Taumalolo is out is just a massive loss. It's huge. Townsend obviously being out for the Sharkies is pretty big as well, but I mean, they do bring Matty Moylan into the halves, who, and this is a tough thing, because Moylan, if Moylan has an on game, he looks as good as anyone in the comp. He looks extremely dangerous. He can set up tries for days, but he's very hot and cold. You don't know what you're going to get with Moylan. In the same night, he can have 3 great plays, 3 terrible plays. So that's a tough one. But honestly, I'm still going to tip the Cowboys, because Andrew Fafita is still a big loss. Chad Townsend, they still got Johnson as the halfback, who hopefully will control the game better, but I think the Cowboys, they're showing good signs. I love Holmes at fullback. I love Fella on the wing, with Hampton's looked great. Esan Masters starting to come into his own. Drinkwater and Clifford, that combination looks very, very good for the Cowboys. Again, Morgan, I don't think they're a better team without Morgan, but I do love the Clifford and Drinkwater combo in the halves. Francis Molo comes into the starting side. He's an absolute weapon. Maguire goes to lock. You know, you can't fill Taumalolo's void, but it's not a bad replacement. Honestly, Cohen Hess he's actually looked good this year. He's actually looked good, Cohen Hess. Mitchell Dunn, I love him as a player. Jordan McLean. I just think the Cowboys just have a little bit too much, and I do like their bench still with Reece Robson, Asiata, Tom Gilbert. He's a player of the future, and the experience of Gavin Cooper. I'm gonna tip the Cowboys. Again, not confidently. These games this week are way harder than last week. It'll probably mean I get more right, but dude, it's not easy. And then we have the Raiders v the Knights. Now, on form, on paper, it seems like an easy tip that the Raiders are going to get up. But, I mean, honestly, the Knights, I mean, they bring Kalen Ponga back in. And apparently Mitchell Pearce is playing. I guess he will. But there's a little bit of drama because, I mean, his concussion was really bad. Because I remember, I thought it used to be like, if they got concussed, they had to be out for, like, they couldn't play for a week. Now, that rule seems to have gone by the wayside, and there's been, changes, like, depending, I guess, the severity. But Mitchell Pearce's concussion was terrible. Like, he got knocked out, dude. So, I'm surprised Mitchell Pearce is playing in this game, but I guess he will. I'd be surprised if they ruled him out late. But Connor Watson is a huge loss, but they do bring in Andrew McCulloch comes into the starting lineup, so it's a pretty handy replacement. The Knights have got pretty lucky with that one, and Tex Hoy's on the bench. He looked very good. I am surprised they dropped young Chris Randall. I mean, I guess, McCulloch is an 80-minute dummy half. He should be able to play the full length. But Chris Randall, honestly, I think he deserved a bench spot. But then I guess Tex Hoy probably deserved a bench spot as well. So they're sort of spoiled for choice with the young outside backs. But, I mean, this Raiders outfit, I honestly, I thought they might struggle a bit this year. I actually thought they might, but they've proven me wrong in 1 week, taking out the Storm in that very, very dominant performance. And I just can't see how they can lose. I love the Knights this year. I think they look very good, but I just don't think the Knights have enough points in them to beat the Raiders. The Raiders' defensive unit has been honestly remarkable. It's been such a turnaround from previous Raiders seasons. Like, they never used to be known for their defense. They were a team that could score 40 points, but they would leak 40 points in the same game. But they have turned that around, and then they've got the attack to go with it. Jack White is looking great in 5'8". George Williams has sort of proven himself now. The forward pack of Papali, Hodgson, Louis, just a solid performer. Tarpany, Whitehead, Horsburgh, exceptional. And then the bench is pretty strong as well with Jordan Rapana, Soliola, Gula, and Havili. So I got to tip the Raiders, but the Knights could surprise. Kalen Ponga is at a good little freshen up. But I'm still worried about the Mitchell Pearce. I don't know. I think maybe he will get ruled out late, but got to go with the Raiders. And I guess here as well, unfortunately for them, Johnny Bateman is out for quite a bit longer. But looking at the team, like it is a big loss. It is a huge loss for the Raiders without Bateman, but they cover it very well. Corey Horsburgh is great at lock, and Elliot Whitehead is obviously a staple, and then Joe Tarpany is he's a gun as well. So yeah, it's a pretty formidable side. Now we move on to Sunday with the West Tigers taking on the Titans, and there are quite a few changes to this Titans backline, or their whole team. So Tyron Roberts does start at fullback, Philip Semi on the wing, Copley, Peachy. I'm very surprised Peachy hasn't been dropped because he really doesn't do anything. I'm not a fan of Tyron Peachy at all. I'm just salty with how the Titans recruiting has gone over the last couple of years. They've just recruited such enough players. Like it's a debate. It's a rant for another time. But Tyron Peachy, not a huge fan. Brian Kelly, I do love Brian Kelly. He was a good recruit. Ash Taylor at 5'8", still Jamal Fogarty at halfback. Looked pretty good. He looked good in the first half, Fogarty, but he didn't get his hands on the footy at all in that second half. So I want to see him touch the footy more. He's got a great kicking game. He's got a good running game. He needs to get involved. He needs to get involved more. And Ash Taylor needs to play off the back of it. Aaron Clark, the young Aaron Clark, comes in for Nathan Peets, which I was actually surprised they started with Pete because I thought Mitch Rain was playing better footy than Pete, and Pete's was dropped last year, and I think the start of this year Mitch Rain was getting the nod. And again, Nathan Pete's I thought he was a good recruit, but honestly, he's come to the Titans and just not. He hasn't looked like a standard, an NRL quality dummy half for a long time. I don't know what's going on with Nathan Peets, but he just doesn't look. He just doesn't look like the player he used to be, and I don't know why. It's a strange one. But Aaron Clark, he's got a lot of talent. It's going to be tough to come in this Titans outfit and really perform, but I think we could see some good things with Aaron Clark. He's a quality kid. Fodawaker, he was massive. He's such a good player, dude. Fodawaker is just he's a star, dude. How old? He's like 19, 18, 19. He's a freak, dude. Sam Lasani, actually, he was pretty solid as well for the first stanza. Kevin Proctor, I'm not going to talk about Proctor again. Keegan Hipgrave, Jai Arrow was good. Tanner Boyd comes onto the 14. Jolliffe, Bryce Cartwright is back, and young Tonamapea comes onto the bench. So that's a strange bench, dude. I honestly, Holbrook, it looks like he's just sort of going through the motions. Not through the motions, but it looks like he's going through the roster here to see who is performing, who is not, and I guess just giving everyone a go. It's a weird one, dude. I'm actually surprised Jonas Pearson got dropped. Who are their wingers? Okay, yeah, Philip Semi and Brian Kelly moves to the wing. Yeah, okay, that's weird. Honestly, I don't agree with that. I actually thought, yeah, that's strange, dude. What is this team? What is this freaking team, dude? I'm looking at it. I'm just losing my mind. I don't know, dude. I really don't know about this team. Wallace also gets dropped, which is probably fair. Yeah. The Tigers are going to win. Basically, what it comes down to, the Tigers are going to win this game. I don't know. Looking at that Titans lineup, that's a weird one. That is a weird team, dude. I don't know. This could be a flogging as well. I feel like the Tigers, look good. Harry Grant looked very good on his debut. The young props of Alloway and McKaylee look great. Luke Garner, Luciano is playing well, and then you got the quality in Alex Twal. Billy Walters, their bench, honestly, their bench isn't that good, the Tigers, but Billy Walters, provides some good spark off the bench. Oliver Clark, good young player. Chris Lawrence, steady head there. And Seafarth, haven't really seen him. And then the back line, I think they just got too much strike in the back line with Lure and Nofaluma and by Jennings. Yeah, the Tigers are going to win this. It's just a matter of how much, honestly. I was trying to think of things to say for the Titans to get excited, but I just, going through that team lineup, I can't. I can't, dude. And then we got the final game on the Monday holiday, the game of the round, some would say. The Doggies taking on the Dragons. Now, the funny thing is, I actually think this game could be a good game. I actually think, these teams are terrible. They played terrible this year. But I actually think it could be a pretty good game. Sometimes two of the worst teams in the comp coming together, it can provide some good stuff. So, straight away, honestly, the Dragons, McGregor is sort of like Holbrook. He's sort of just rotating. I still don't understand Holbrook's approach, because Lomax played all his trials. He did all his preseason at fullback. He played the first round, I think, at fullback, and he honestly looked pretty good. He wasn't like a world beater, but it was his first real shot at fullback, and he looked pretty solid. And then he dropped him. He brought Dufty back, and Dufty has been in and out. And I like Dufty, But the big problem with Dufty is that for a little guy, he's got spark, but he doesn't support the forwards enough. Like for a small guy like that, he has to be on the footy all the time. He has to be up in the ruck, looking for the offloads, looking for that chance. He doesn't do it enough for the type of player he is. And also the big drawback with Dufty is whenever a team kicks to him, they can just drag him back like 10 meters every time. It really sets the Dragons up for a tough out from their end. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand. Like they dropped Lomax for Dufty. Dufty got dropped. He's back. He's dropped. Now Norman is the fullback. And I mean, Norman has been pretty shocking, but Norman used to be one of my favorite players at the Broncos, and I thought he played his best footy at fullback. He came up with some incredible try savers that year. He looked good at fullback. He had a kicking game, decent runner of the ball, good ball player. I actually think fullback is his spot. So I don't know. Maybe this experiment will eventually work, and they'll get a decent fullback, and they can work around it. But McGregor is just sort of he's clutching at straws, dude. He's trying everything, except the basics, I guess. I don't know. But I like Pereira. I think he's a great player. Zach Lomax, I like. Ravalawa, I like. I mean, looking at the Dragons lineup, it's still very strong, dude. Ben Hunt moving to 5'8", I think is a good thing. Adam Clune, he might be out because he copped a knock at training. I'm not going to talk like he'll be out. He may. I don't know the severity of the injury, but he copped a head knock. I think he broke his nose or something. Something happened. But Adam Clune, I haven't seen too much of him, but there's some raps about him. So honestly, I don't mind this lineup. And let's be real, the Ben Hunt and Corey Norman partnership just does not work. The forward pack again, like the forward pack is so good, dude. Like, surely they have to fire up. They need to fire up the big boys. Isaac Luke comes onto the bench. Trent Merrin is back. Tyrell Fuimaono gets dropped. So yeah, some weird things happening there. And then you look at the Bulldogs. And we've got, honestly, I like, the Bulldogs bench is pretty good. Tuamunga was really good when he came on. Fatala Mariner was pretty solid. And even Suase Su, they've got a strong bench, the Dogs, but they just don't have any tack. Kieran Foran comes into the team, and I think it does make a big difference, but does it make a big enough difference? He's a good player. But the other thing I guess to consider is that how many times has Foran come back and played like half a game and gone off injured? I hope it doesn't happen. I want to see Kieran Foran come back and actually play a couple of seasons uninjured. Like he's such a good player to watch. He's aggressive, takes the line on, just always on the footy, always up for the contest, and I want to see him back. But I mean, his body just doesn't seem to handle the rigors of NRL anymore. But Kieran Foran, he's a huge plus. But I can't tip the Dogs. I just don't see them scoring enough points. I mean, they might not have to. The Dragons might not score any points either. But I feel like surely the Dragons have to click. Not fully. I feel like they have to just do a little bit at one point. They got too strong a team to not do anything. Oh boy, but there we go. There's my tips. I'm tipping the Dragons again, not confidently, but I just cannot see the Dogs scoring enough points to win this game. But who knows? It could be a thriller. It could be an absolute blockbuster of a match. So there's my tips for round 4. Hopefully we do better than round 3. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are tipping, and let me know how you went last week. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the NRL discussions and whatnot. But yeah, make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.